Good morning. Happy Monday. What are we drinking today?
Today we have a special combination. We have Bill's coffee. What?
Special combination.
We have a special duo inside here. Bill's coffee and some kind of Trader Joe's maple syrup.
We're being super basic.
'Tis the season.
Trader Joe's maple coffee with Phil's Silk and Splendor. Raise your cup up and give us a smiley face if you got your coffee on this morning too. Today we're going to talk about goal setting, why you should goal set, how to goal set, and how goal setting might actually just change your life.
I just changed your life.
I want to begin with a side story. So when I worked at
Will you tell us a story?
yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so when I worked at Lululemon like around 5 or 6 years ago, that's when I was introduced to goal setting for the first time. And the lady who was my manager, she's not a lady, I actually call her Yoda until today. I'm insanely grateful for her because she taught me how to goal set, and literally ever since then my life has completely changed. And things that I wrote down in my vision and goals, which seemed, I actually had no idea how I was ever going to make it happen, but it's so funny to look back because 5 years later, literally everything that I envisioned and set a goal to literally became my reality, which is insane. And goal setting is a life, envisioning and goal setting is a completely life transforming activity, and that is why I want to share it with you today. I don't know if anybody in the house is Jewish. If you are, Shana Tova. If you're not, that's totally fine. But today is the start of the Jewish New Year. And last night over dinner, when, Erin and I had a nicer meal, we were talking, and we get into very deep conversations over dinner sometimes. And, I was asking her, if you were to fast forward 1 year from now, where would you like your life to be at? And I believe that it's a question that not a lot of people ask, but it's a very important question because here's the thing. If you don't know where you're going, you're always going to go around in circles, and you're going to have life take you by your wheels. And that is why it is so important to goal set, because when you envision where you want to be 1 year from now, or maybe less than that, maybe more than that, all you have to do is basically reverse engineer. It's a very simple formula that might actually change your life. Like I said, it has transformed my life completely, and that is why I'm such an avid believer in it. And because of the timing of it, with the Jewish New Year just getting started, just wanted to go over it with you today. Do you have anything to say with regards for goal setting?
No, you're right. We never ask the question that really needs to have an answer, and we get unhappy because we feel stuck in monotony, and that's because we don't have direction. We haven't given, and maybe there's an underlying expectation of somebody else to give us that direction, but the truth is that my life is my own, and your life is your own, and you are the only one who can give you direction. So if you don't ask yourself and find the answer to that question 1 year from now, where do you see yourself, then you will never have that purpose or direction, and you'll never get anywhere, and then you'll stay stuck, and you'll keep doing the regular things that you keep doing, and then not feel as fulfilled. Because I truly believe that having something to work towards gives you fulfillment, and fulfillment creates happiness, and everybody is looking for happiness. So
Yeah, and also clarity create, at least in my case, when I'm clear about something, I feel like I'm in more in ease. Because when I'm not clear, I'm like, oh, what should I be doing? I don't know what to do. Like I try to do so many things and I kind of end up getting nowhere. Okay.
you can't reverse engineer a goal you don't have.
Yeah. Think about your life like a GPS. Let's say if you wanted to go from, so we live in SoCal, if you wanted to go from here to New York, right, and you weren't to a GPS, your final destination, how would you know what stops you need to take on the road? You're just going to keep on driving and hope that you'll get there. But the chances of you driving without the direction is very slim to none that you will actually get there. And your life is literally the same thing. Your life is a map, and it's up to you to really declare by getting clear on where it is that you want to stop, what it is that you want to experience, and then work your way backwards. Cool? All right.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everybody who just joined in, by the way. Hope you're having a great start to your week. So, okay, we'll talk about how to goal set. So I always start, when it comes to goal setting, you know, just like what I asked Aaron last night, you know, you need to sit down and think to yourself where you'd like your life to be 1 year from now. And this can get very overwhelming, but just to simplify things, what I would usually do is break it down into 3 categories. Category number 1 would be your health. Category number 2 would be your career. Category number 3 would be your personal life. Okay? So, under each category, health, career, personal life, you would want to write 2 things that you'd want to have. But the trick to writing it is that you have to write it in the present tense as if it had already happened. So let's say, you know, when it comes to health, let's say if your goal is to lose weight, let's say right now you weigh 175 and you'd like to weigh 150 pounds, then for your 1 year goal, you're going to write, I weigh 150 pounds.
As if you're living in it in the moment.
Yes. We're gonna talk about the details on SMART goals versus goals in just a second.
Can I give them, when Sarit first asked me that question, you know, it's difficult. It's going to be a difficult question to answer.
Yeah.
And that is because we think, oh, well, I don't, like a lot can happen in a year. And it's true. But again, you're in charge of all of a lot that happens within the year. Some things you don't have control over, and that's fine. But if you can say 1 year from now, like this is where you have the power to choose, right? Like you have the freedom to decide, where do I want to be a year from now? And even if you don't know how to make it happen, just write it down. Like Sarit was saying, like I had no idea how the things that I wrote were like gonna happen, but that's how I was told to do it, and everything has worked out. So there's a whole nother episode we could do about, you know, the power of manifestation and thoughts becoming things and whatnot. But think there is no limit. You can create whatever you want within the next year, and write that down.
Yes, exactly. There's no limit. And if you think that there is any limit, then stop yourself and then write it down regardless. Like when I'm telling you this 5 years ago, when I wrote down all my goals, it's crazy, because if you are clear on what it is that you want and you work like on it every single day, it literally, your manifestation will become a reality. And that is something that is so incredibly powerful. And if I can help you just a little bit to get into that, then I'm going to tell you that 1 year ago, 1 year from now, your life is going to be totally different. Okay, so
I would say out of like 100 people that watch this video, like maybe it'll change 2 or 3 lives, but it will change dramatically. Because the fact is that most people won't do it. Don't be that person. Don't be those people. Be that 1 or 2 people out of 100 that will take the advice, that will do it, and your life will be changed. I promise you.
Okay, so whoever's in the room, I see a couple of you just jumping in. Good morning, everybody. I want you to take down a pen and a piece of paper, and this is what you're going to write down. Okay, number 1, when doing this exercise, you need to be in a present space. You need to be in a space where
without distraction.
There's no distractions, there's no noise around you. If you're doing this right and you're actually going to like dig deep, then this is going to take quite a bit of time. To be honest, maybe this could be a Monday night activity, but yeah, like I will not do it like at 9 a.m. in the morning. Like if anything, I'll do it when I come back home tonight. And, you know, when I have some time for myself, if you know that tonight you're just booked for the night, then tonight is not the night. And that is why you need to write these things down. You need to be in a present space. And this is the time when I will tell you, you don't want to have any sort of alarms, reminders, notifications around you. Your phone needs to be far away from you.
Completely present.
Completely present.
In a quiet space.
Just in your own space. And I would recommend, you know, if your significant other is around you, if you have kids, they're around you, then you will want to pick a time when there's literally nobody around you, because their words might be distracting, their presence might be distracting. Also, your goals are different than anybody else's goals, and they might talk you out of some things. I don't care how much they love you. Sometimes our loved ones can be not supportive, but none of that matters right now. Okay, so
you can even get cheesy AF with it. Close your eyes, imagine it. What do you want? Like, see the things that you want. Nicole Kobe said it's been working for me. I remember, Nicole, when you sent us your stuff, and it's an honor to be a part of your journey, and it's amazing to see the transformation that is happening within you. And that's just a small start, right? Okay, you know, 1 year from now, you could even start with 3 months, 6 months, a year, whatever. But you want to write it all down, and you want to be influenced only by your imagination.
Okay, so number 1, write down present space. Okay, number 2, you're gonna take 3 things into consideration: your health, let's do career, and let's do your personal life. Okay, so write those 3 things down. Those are the 3 things that you're gonna set your yearly goals for. Okay,
and you get 2 goals per each category, so you'll have 6 total goals for 1 year.
Could you have more? Yes. Could you have less? Yes. Start with 2. Trust me, if you were to act upon these 6 areas of your life each day, every day for the next year, that's going to be enough. Okay, so don't get ahead of yourself, and start with just 2. Okay, so now, knowing that you're going to basically do goal setting for your next year with regards for your health, for your career, and for your personal life, let's talk about how to really do this, right? So you can really get the most out of it. And that way, you know, on September 30th, 2020, when we have this conversation, you'll be like, holy shit, Sarit and Erin, like all of this came true. Okay? So
we're just here making all of your wildest dreams come true.
Call me genie in a bottle. Okay, so let's talk about the difference between goal setting and smart goal setting. Okay, so it's easy to write down goals, but if you don't write them properly, then you're taking away from the power of what you're writing, and you basically haven't done anything with that. So when writing down your goals, you want to make sure to use the SMART formula, and that is specific, measurable, attainable.
I love it every time.
Every time it happens. Realistic and in a timely manner. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're being very specific with your goal. Therefore, if you want to lose weight, okay, if it's health related and you want to lose weight, let's say like before, for example, you weigh 170 pounds, you want to get down to 150. So don't just say, I lost weight, okay? Get specific. How much weight have you lost? What size clothing are you wearing? The more specific you are, the more emotion we're adding into it, the better it is. Okay, so get very specific with your goal. Another thing would help. Let's say if you want to improve your run time, right? So rather than saying, I run 3 times a week, get specific with what is your 5K? Like the more specific you are, the better, okay? So specific, cool, measurable, okay? So let's say with regards for health, just like weight loss, if you want to weigh 150 and currently you weigh 175, you say, I lost 25 pounds, okay? It's measurable. And now I wear a size, let's say 6, okay? So you can measure your progress based off of, what size you fit into, what's the weight on the scale, whatever you want it to be, okay? You got to make sure it's attainable. For example, this is going to sound extreme, but if you have, let's say, 150 pounds to lose and you're giving yourself a year to do that, chances are slimmer for you to be able to attain that within a year, right? So you wanna make sure that you're being realistic with your goals. Like, can you actually do that? For any of the dudes in the room, if you wanna, let's say, put on some muscle mass, right? Like, you wanna be realistic. Like, let's say if you weigh 180 pounds and ideally you wanna get into 250, like, you saying I weigh 250 pounds of pure muscle, which is basically 75 pounds, I don't care even how many steroids you were to take, it's very unattainable in a year. You know what I mean? So get very realistic with yourself. And
then time is just, write the date and then write the goal. That is the time frame.
Yes, you have to write the date as well, because that's how you really hold yourself accountable.
And we're about at the beginning of another month, so
specific,
perfect,
measurable, attainable, realistic. Okay, so make sure that you're being realistic about it.
That we just talked about. No,
I think so.
Yeah.
And then,
realistic and attainable. I feel like let's talk about this. I've always thought about SMART goals. I feel like attainable and realistic are kind of like the same. If it's not attainable, it's not realistic. If it's not realistic, it's not attainable, right?
Mm.
I'm gonna Google dictionary.
If it's not attainable, it's not realistic. I think sometimes you might not be very realistic, but it could still be attainable. Like, for example, like in career, let's say if your goal is, I made $1 million by September, 30th, 2020. It might not be realistic, but depending on what you're doing, it is attainable.
But since we're also talking about a time frame, it is attainable because people have done it.
Right.
So But it's just for you, is it realistic or not? Okay, great. Glad we decided the difference between those two.
Okay, and within a timely manner. Okay, so SMART goals, that's how you do it. Yeah, I mean, goal setting, there's nothing better that I can speak of for you. It's just such a powerful practice. So once you write down your 1 year goals, you're not done. Then we're gonna need to start reverse engineering that, because between now and a year from now, there's so much that happens. Okay, so
And how do you know if you're on track?
And how do you know if you're on track? So now we're gonna break it down into simpler terms that are gonna make things less overwhelming for you and more attainable. And this is how we're gonna do it. You're gonna so once you're clear on your 1 year goals, then you're gonna break down your 1 year goals into 6 months goals.
So you should be at the halfway mark.
Yeah.
Within 6 months.
Exactly.
You want to be on track, right?
Exactly. And then,
so if you have 20 pounds to lose by 6 months, or if let's say you have 40 pounds you want to lose, by 6 months you will have already lost 20.
Yeah.
Right?
So by March 30th, 2020, you would have already been 20 pounds down. So this, takes off the pressure, because it allows you to check in with yourself on a more consistent basis. And the more clarity you have, the less stress you have. And once there is momentum and clarity, then you just run with it.
So where would they be at the 3 month mark?
Then? Right. So after the 6 months mark, you're going to reverse engineer it furthermore. And you're going to basically write down your goals for your 3 months mark, right? So if your goal was to initially, let's say, come September 2020 to lose 40 pounds, by March, you would have already lost 20 pounds, and 3 months from now, end of the year, you should be 10 pounds down, okay? So now, to make things even more simpler, okay, you're gonna check in with yourself every single month, okay? So if 3 months from now, you would have been 10 pounds down, okay, then divided by 3, 1 month from now, end of October, you'll be 3 pounds down. And just like that, that is how you make it happen. But now, weight loss is a bit more simpler when it comes to setting goals, because you're talking with specific numbers. When it comes to personal life things like, let's say, 1 year from now, I'm in a relationship with my dream girl, and she looks blah, 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 and she does blah, blah, blah. Like, when it comes, so the universe doesn't really track time, but as long as you keep these thoughts in the back of your head all day, every day, when an opportunity arises, you just take it.
So you can't necessarily decide a halfway mark, because you're not working with a number.
Right.
So, but what you can decide is what actions you are taking in order to make that happen. Okay, so if I want to be with my dream significant other, a year from now, then what are the action steps that you need to take? Do you need to work on yourself? Do you need to get on a dating website? Do you need to go to different events and meet people? Like, what are the things that you need to do? And then just put yourself in those situations, and then those actions are the things that you can write down as like, okay, by 6 months, I've gone to 2 singles conventions, and I don't know, whatever you do to do that. And you can always write down the actions. It's more difficult to say, oh, I'm halfway to meeting my significant other.
Yeah, don't worry about these things. Like, don't stress yourself when it comes to like personal stuff like that, because then if you're overstressing yourself, then you're actually you're creating resistance, and what resists persists. Okay, but if you're clear on your goals, right, then you will know when opportunities come. When an event that might have your, let's say, dream person Like if you see it in the back of your head and you know that 1 year from now this is where you want to be, then book the ticket. Go to that event no matter what. You know what I mean? Yeah, just by it's like talking to your subconscious, and that is why you want to reverse engineer everything to literally like the tiniest degree, because it's just a matter of checking in with yourself. And now it doesn't matter, for example, even with weight loss, let's say if we said that we want to lose 40 pounds a year, so every month you're going to be around 3 pounds. That doesn't mean that every week you're going to lose a pound. I mean, maybe during Thanksgiving week, who knows, you might actually gain 2 pounds. That doesn't mean that you're on track. But if you keep your goal in the back of your head every single day, then you're going to show up better each day. And within a year, everything is going to compound. Okay, so don't start over analyzing all the details of this. Just
put it on paper.
Put it on paper and check in with yourself on a very regular basis. Okay, I would recommend around once a month. And when you do that, then let's say if 1 month from now you didn't really hit your 1 month goals as you wanted to, don't stress out. That's great. That means that it's time to course correct in one way, shape, or form. It's all about course correction. But here's the thing. When you have clarity, then you know how to course correct. When you don't have clarity, then you're just leaving too much room for error while you're still spinning around in circles, and then life keeps on happening to you rather than you taking charge of your own life. Make sense? I think that's that for today.
That's that for today.
You guys, that was deep.
Happy goal setting. I'm sure you can look up on Google in order to help you out with this, like Lululemon Vision and Goals.
Yeah, I don't know if they publish it, but
maybe somebody's posted a picture or something. I don't know. So you can get an idea of what it looks like, and you can, if there is a blank sheet that you can write on, I'm sure somebody has a version of it somewhere online. And the point is not that you have the perfect one or it's from Lululemon or whatever. The point is that you have something to give you a guideline. Some people are very visual, and so I would Google it. I would Google Lululemon Vision and Goals and just see what images pop up.
Yeah. You guys, thank you for joining us this morning. If you found this episode powerful in one way, shape, or form, then do us a favor and like this episode, share this on your wall so that your loved ones could hopefully benefit from this too. Remember, we are on a mission to transform millions of lives through the same movement, nutrition, and lifestyle habits that have transformed ours. Trust me, when I did this exercise 6+ years ago, I had no idea that how any of that could ever happen. But if you're clear on what it is that you want, the universe delivers, and you create opportunities and you take them at the right time. When you don't do that, then you're just leaving so much room for error and you end up going nowhere. That is why some people that you went to high school with, you're like, wow, how did so-and-so become blah, 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 while some people who were the coolest person in the room suddenly are now not doing anything. Like, we see this all the time, and literally the missing piece is clarity. And in order to have clarity, you have to set yourself with some goals. So please, if you feel like you have more clarity going into this morning and this week, then just share this with your friends. Of course, like we say, each week we are giving a free coaching call to one of you guys who really is supporting our mission and sharing this on their wall. So tomorrow we'll be announcing who's the winner from last week.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yes, we want to pay this forward to you too for helping us to spread the message. We know that the things that we talk about here are very different, and they have to be heard, and we need your help in order to do that. And if you do that, then we want to reward you for it as well. Teresa.
So that, well, Teresa will hard doesn't mean impossible. Hard means you're being challenged. Challenge means you get to grow. So I will challenge you to do it.
Growth never happened from staying in your comfort zone. Much peace and love to you guys. Have an amazing day, a beautiful weekend. Tomorrow we have a very special guest. You'll definitely want to tune in for that. So stick around. We will see you tomorrow.
Mañana.
6 a.m.